Hey, good morning, it's Owen Bigland. This is the Inside Edge video blog. I'm going to target this one, another video blog here, to some younger people under age 30 that are just starting their first job. They're probably renting an apartment right now and thinking about maybe we should, maybe eventually I want to start to own a place, buy my first condo. So I'm going to report from the front lines here on the current situation in the Vancouver and in the Richmond rental market. Let's talk about Vancouver first. Most of my viewers know I've been a real estate investor for over 20 years. I manage my own portfolio of rental properties. I've got properties in Richmond and Vancouver. And this past June, I had to get two new tenants, one in a downtown unit and then one in Richmond. So let's talk about the downtown one first. This one is in the Crosstown neighborhood, 500 block Beatty Street, so near Gastown area. Now, my previous tenant had been in there June of 2012. I just picked up a new tenant in there, and I can tell you that the rent has gone up in the last 3 years just over 20%. I'm not going to tell you what I'm charging for rent, but I will tell you that I have a 20% increase from 2012. So this is probably the biggest spurt in the cost of renting a property that I've ever seen in the Lower Mainland. Rents are going up at a pretty staggering pace, and it's another nail in the coffin for people that are renting long term. You should really start considering saving enough for a down payment and buying a place, because gone are the days when you can rent and save a whole pile of dough and invest the difference as opposed to buying. Not when as long as interest rates are below 7 or 8%, and they're well below that now, it doesn't make a lot of sense long term to be a renter. Short term, sure. If you want to rent for a year or two and you might be moving, probably better off to rent, because buying is a longer term commitment, which I've blogged about many times before. But it's over 20% increase from June of 2012 to June 2015. I can tell you that I ran the ad on Craigslist. I ran the ad for a total of 4 hours, and then I had to delete it. In 4 hours, I had about 18 phone calls. Now, this is a prime building. I'll have to admit, it's a boutique building, very high demand. But I was able to book 6 showings in a matter of about 4 hours. Of the 6 people that looked at the property, 5 gave me applications, and as I say, I rented it right away at about a 22% increase from what my previous current tenants were paying. Now, I knew my rent was low. I blogged about it before. When I get good tenants into my units, I want them there for the long term, and I don't raise their rent every year. So I knew that they were paying well below market. But that is a big increase in just 3 years. Now, I also had the same thing happen in Richmond. I had the tenant that was in there for 4 years who moved out. He's moving out July 1st. And on that one, I ran the ad for a day and a half on Craigslist. Phone rang off the hook, and I'm getting about a 15% increase on the Richmond property. So again, rents are going up, and they're going up at a pretty quick pace. If you're a young person, you're just getting your first job, you're working, and most people have to start off renting. Your goal should be to start putting some money away and saving for the down payment on a condo. The long term, if you're planning on staying in the Lower Mainland for a while, you should be owning, especially at today's interest rates. I can't express it strongly enough. I've got units now. Contrary to what you hear on the news, that everything is $1 million, I've got 2-bedroom units in Richmond, 5-minute walk to SkyTrain for under $200,000 that have been renovated. I've got unrenovated units that are in the 170s, 180s, and these are good buildings. They're 30 to 35 years old, but they've had work done, new windows, balconies, siding. So with 10% down, on a $200,000 condo, so 20%, $20,000 down, your mortgage payment is going to be around $700 a month. So that's where you start. $700 a month isn't going to rent you anything. I think in Richmond right now, I can tell you a typical 1-bedroom, 1-bath in Richmond, you're looking at about $1,000 a month for an older unit, and then it goes up from there. $1,400, $1,500 for something concrete and a little bit newer. In downtown Vancouver right now, a decent 1-bedroom in a good building in Yaletown, Crosstown, Gastown, you're looking at about $2,000 a month for a 600 square foot 1-bedroom. So it's not cheap. So I think it's the reason I'm blogging about this, what rents are doing. You want to be on the other side of the fence there. If you're thinking about staying in Vancouver for the long term, then you should be thinking about buying. Building up some equity, coming up with that down payment, it sure beats renting, because rents are going up at a very quick pace right now. Now, on another little topic, in last weekend's Wall Street Journal, there was a fairly in-depth story in there on Airbnb. Airbnb is the property rental website. If you don't know what it is, check it out, airbnb.com. Airbnb.com, the company is public, massive website now. This is where they rent properties. People can rent out homes or condos or townhomes in every major city in the world pretty much. There's hundreds of them in Vancouver, thousands of them in a place like New York City. The article in the Wall Street Journal talked about how Airbnb is having an effect on rental prices. And how much it's affecting Vancouver prices, I don't know. They're saying in New York it's having a huge effect on rental prices, because what's happening is people are going from long-term rentals where they're renting out unfurnished apartments for 1 year at a time, or 2 years, 1 year leases. They're deciding to furnish them and put them on Airbnb and rent them short term, by the night, by the week, even by the month. Much better cap rate. It's a little bit more work because you're constantly getting people coming and going, although Airbnb does a lot of the work. They provide the check-in calendar, they do all the billing. All you do is show up with the keys and provide a cleaning service in between. Now, another topic I'll have to do at another time is, it's against most strata rules. I mean, there's hundreds of these units downtown Vancouver right now, renting them out by the day, like a hotel room. Technically, that's against strata bylaws. Most bylaws, minimum rental time is 6 months usually. A lot of them are a year. But that's a whole other topic. But it talked about how Airbnb, a lot of these owners are converting from longer term unfurnished rentals to furnished rentals on Airbnb and making a lot more money. So that could have a long-term effect on rental prices as well. Bottom line is, don't be trying to time markets. If you can afford a property right now, you're qualified financially for a mortgage. We don't know what the prices are going to do in the short term. We could get a 10% correction next year. But if you've got a long-term horizon, you should be buying sooner rather than later. And that way you don't have to worry about these rents going through the roof and the uncertainty of how long you're going to be able to stay in your unit. I'm Owen Bigland. As always, thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.